Welcome to another edition of Tech Tuesday presented by Delta Media Group, where we have been deep into the development of DeltaNet 7. And we've come to find that DeltaNet 6 actually seems to be afraid of 7. That's probably because 7, 8, 9. So today, we're going to take a look at the Pages system. We've done videos on this in the past, and what we're going to do is take a look at how the Pages system works and any kind of updates that we've added to it since we last put together a video for it. Now what we'll look at is just the kind of overview of the Pages system in general, how you can create pages and how you can work with those, and not so much the specifics of designing the page itself. So first off, to get to the Pages system, we're either going to type Pages up here into the Quick Actions bar. If I type Pages up here, you'll see that a link to website Pages comes up, and that's how I could get there. Or you may also be able to click on this drop down here next to the Website tab and click on Pages here. Either way, it will take you to this same interface where you can interact with the pages that appear on your website. So first off, you have the Current Pages section here on the left, and you can see that it actually labels out all of the custom pages that you have here, so it's easy to identify those. The ones that aren't labeled that way are system pages. So these are pages that either already existed in the system or they're system generated pages. Like this is a market landing page, for example, that I created through the Pages system for this, but it's not really a custom page because it is a market landing page specifically. So this is where you can see all of your pages. This is also where you can create new pages, and we'll take a look at that here in a minute. But you can also recover any pages, which can be very useful if, say, you delete a page by accident and you want to get that page back. So for example, we have a test page here right at the top, so I'll just click on that one, and I'll delete this page. It has a little prompt there to confirm. Now that page is gone, but if I wanted to get it back, I can click on Recover Page, and then use this drop-down to select from all of the pages I've deleted in the past, which includes the one I just deleted now. So it shows me a preview of the content on that page, some of the fields that were associated with it, and if I click Recover This Page, you can see it brings my page back, so I can always get that back. The other thing that I can do here is if I have made continual changes to a page, and this is one that I've built and then made some changes to, you can see there's a page history button that appears. Now this won't be here by default, so when we looked at this, our first example here, you can see it doesn't have a page history button because there's only been one version of this page. If I made a change to it and saved it again, then the page history button would show up so that I could revert those changes and bring it back to what it was. So really the takeaway there is that don't be afraid to make any changes here. When you get into this system, don't worry about making changes to the content and losing what you started with, because you can always click on Page History, and it brings up a very similar interface to the Recover Page interface, and then I can select previous revisions of the page. It will show me what the content looked like here, and then if I said make this the current page, that would save this as my current page. So it's always very easy to get back originals if you've made changes to those. So we'll go ahead and cancel that. So now we'll get into creating a new page. So I'm going to click on New Page, and you'll see that I have a few options up here as to the types of pages that I can create. So first is custom, and that's what it's set on by default. So from here, we'll just run through each of the options that make up your custom page, or that you can use to make up your custom page. So first, we have an option to make the page viewable only to registered users. So what that means, if I check that box, is that if I save this page, the only way someone will be able to get to it is if they are logged into a portfolio account. So it gives me an additional box here to show to people that are not registered. So if anyone tries to access this page while they are not logged into a portfolio account, it will show whatever content I have in this box. And we have a default here that just says please register or log in to view the page. Now if they are logged in, then they would actually see the content that I build out down here. So we'll go ahead and uncheck that. The next thing we can do is I can easily add a custom form to this page. So if I check this box, you can see I open up a variety of other options that I can use to actually customize the page itself. Customize the form itself rather. So first I can choose which side of the page the form will appear on, just right or left, and then whatever content I add to this page will appear on the other side. So if I have this set to right side, whatever content I put here will appear on the left side of the page. Now I can also give that, choose from different form types. So the general form would be like a general contact form, which is roughly the same thing that shows up on your actual contact page. But I can say general with an address field, so we can accept the address also. I can change it to selling information so that it is kind of more geared toward potential sellers. Buyer information, which again, same thing but geared toward buyers. And then lastly, there is a real estate career form, which is kind of, a specialty form that won't be of use to probably most of you watching this video, but know that it is available there. So we'll switch that back to general. We can give it a contact form title, which will just appear up at the top of the form. We can give it a thank you URL. So what this allows you to do is have this form redirect to a custom page when you submit it. So what you would do is you would create another custom page ahead of time, or you could have it go out to a third party or a page that's already created if you'd like. And you just put the URL of that page here, and then whenever someone submits the form, this is where the system will take them. Next, we can put some default contact form comments. So most of these forms do have a contact field at the bottom, or a comments field rather, at the bottom, where the customer can enter out their comments before they submit it, and that'll be included on the request when they submit the form. If I want to put some default information in there, and sometimes that's just used to show them the kind of thing you're expecting in that form. So let's say you've created a custom page that is related to a contest and you want them to fill out some specific kind of information in the comments. You can put that here in the default comments to give your customer an idea of what you're looking for there. Next, you can change the form button text. So this is what actually appears on the submit button. So by default, it'll just say submit. But if a contest would be another good example, I could make that button page, or the button itself, actually say enter now instead of submit. Just to kind of customize that form a little bit further. In fact, I'll leave it that way. Why not? The next thing we have here is the form autoresponder. So right now it is the default autoresponder, but I can choose from all of the various autoresponders that are set up in the system. So these are all autoresponders for different kinds of requests. The neat thing about this is if I did make this a buying form, for example, I can select that autoresponder so that the autoresponder they get after they fill out the form is a little bit more tuned to the purpose of the form. So we'll switch that back to our default. Next, the general form especially has a number of checkboxes on it. It basically says areas of interest, and the customer can then check the kinds of things they're interested in. And it's like buying and selling, investing, things like that. If I don't want those to appear on the form, I can just check this box and it will hide all of those checkboxes. So we'll uncheck that. Now the next thing we have is the page type. So the page type by default is a standard page. So this is just a regular content page. Your full website template loads up around it, so it's just a page on your website. But I can also change this to a standard page with no navigation. It's kind of like almost a squeeze page. The idea is that they'll still be on your website, they'll still see your template and all your branding, but without those navigation elements, they won't be able to navigate away from this page. So basically you're saying, come to this page, it has all my branding on it, but the only thing you can do here is fill out and submit this form. And then the last one is a true squeeze page. So what the squeeze page is, an actual true squeeze page, is a page with no template whatsoever. So the only content that will appear on that page is what you put down here in this content section. And when you do choose a true squeeze page, we're really not including any code on that page by default. So we do give you the option of including your Google Analytics code. So if you do have a Google Analytics code attached to your website, this can automatically include it on that page so that you don't have to do anything special to still get this page tracked in your analytics, even though it is a squeeze page. So we'll switch this back over to a standard page. Down here, this is your standard WYSIWYG editor. So this is the same editor that you would edit your home page with. The email editor is very similar if you're creating like an email blast, anything like that. It doesn't have all the same options this does, but it's essentially the same editor. And here you put in, this is my page content. And like any other WYSIWYG editor, it has the ability to change the formatting of this content. So I can make it bold, I can turn it into a heading and make it larger. I can make bulleted lists, numbered lists. So I have a lot of options as far as the content that I can actually put on this page. In addition to that, I can use some of our special functionality, like right here we have an image gallery. So I could use this to find stock imagery to put on this page if I don't have any specific images I would like to put on it myself. I can use all of this special functionality here to add some kind of dynamic elements to this page that'll show different things. So if I wanted to make a page specific to a certain market, I can go in here and I can add a market activity display here. And I would just fill out all my market information, submit this, and it would add that to my page as well. So we have videos that go over this in more specifics and kind of get detailed on these custom shortcodes. But at this point, just know that those are available for you, and there's no better way to learn what's available there than to go in and experiment with them. Now as we scroll down, the next thing we can do is we have a section to just drop in some data at the end of the page. So it can drop in a sold listing section or basically a map search on the page. So that capability is there. Next you have the link title. Now let's see, we'll call this Tech Tuesday test page. Now what this is the link title is what's going to appear over here. It's basically the name of the page. So this is what will appear over here, and it's also what will appear in your navigation if you do add this to your navigation. So if I choose to add this to the top navigation on my website, this is the text that would be up there that the user would actually click on to get to this page. And then how I determine where this shows up is I click on either of these checkboxes, and that determines on my particular website template whether this will be available as a page in the navigation menu, or if it will show up, or a link to this page will show up in the bottom link section on your website template if your template does include a bottom link section. Now I'll click on page title, and you'll notice that it automatically copies my link title to my page title. And usually you're pretty good there just sticking with that, but you can further customize the page title if you'd like. The page title is what will show up in the browser tab up at the top of the browser for the user on that page. And also if this page comes up in search results, this title will show up as the thing that they click on in the search results to get to the page. So really you want it to be just a short, human readable, I don't want to call it a description of the page because that's too much, but just a short title for the page, exactly what it sounds like. So we'll go ahead and add this one to our navigation menu. And then the next pieces we have here are the meta description and meta keywords tags. So meta description, you can see there's a little need help button here that can explain these a little further. But really the meta description is a human readable description of the page. Search engines will key in on that meta description and also show it in the search results underneath the page title if it does come up in search results. Keywords is just a series of keywords related to the page content separated by commas. Search engines don't really use the meta keywords anymore, but it's still not a bad idea to put those in. It's just kind of a best practice to have those entered. But it won't really hurt you if you don't, because search engines aren't really looking at those much anymore. Now the next piece we have is the Facebook share image. So this lets me define a specific image that I would like Facebook to use if this page is shared on Facebook. Now Facebook won't necessarily always use the image. It just looks a lot at the image criteria to see if it matches the kind of thing they're looking for to use on the page. But this basically tells Facebook, this is the image I would like you to use if this page is shared. If it doesn't use this, it'll basically just look at the other pictures on that page and it will choose one that meets its specifications. So keep that in mind. Next, we can add a page URL here if we want to customize the URL of this page. So if I make this /Tech Tuesday test page, there we go, then that makes this the page URL. So it'll be my website domain followed by whatever it is that I put here. If I don't fill that in, and it is optional, but if I don't fill it in, it will just make the page URL something like /page ID equals. So just kind of a string that we generate to have a place for this page to live. But this allows you to customize that. Now the next thing you can do is I can say redirect this URL, and then I can enter something here as well. So at that point, none of my page content would matter. This is just a function that lets me take a page URL and have it redirect to another page. So that can be particularly useful if you're dealing with pages for specific purposes and maybe you're using different spellings or different hyphenation for the actual page URL here. So you could create one page and then you could have multiple URLs direct to that page. So I could make this, let's say, Tech Tuesday test page, like this is going to be my actual page. I could make another page that's just Tech Tuesday and check this and redirect that to Tech Tuesday test page. There we go. Now keep in mind this is a full URL too, so I can't just put in the relative URL like this. I have to actually put in the full page URL without the HTTP at the beginning because that's already taken into account. So if this, if my agent domain was harleysrealestate.com, then that's how I would enter that here. So my full domain followed by the / and then the page I want it to redirect to. Now this can redirect to third-party pages as well. So if you did have a URL of a third-party page and you wanted a URL in your website to redirect to it, you could do that. It really only makes sense in really specific scenarios, but know that you do have the option of doing that. So as we work our way down, we now have a list of campaigns and action plans. Now the idea here is that anyone who visits this page while they are logged into a portfolio account will automatically be added to every campaign I have selected here. And you can see I have access to quite a few campaigns on this account, but all I would do is put a check mark next to the campaigns that I would like a visitor to this page to be added to, and then as long as they're logged into their portfolio account when they land on the page, they'll automatically be added to those campaigns and start getting those emails or text messages or generating those to-dos or tasks, just whatever the campaign is set up to do. So we'll uncheck those for now, and there you have it. We'll remove our redirect because if I leave that in, our page isn't going to work very well. There we are. All right, so now my page is all built out. So if I go down here and click Submit, now I have created my custom page. So we'll scroll down our list here, and we'll find our Tech Tuesday test page. There it is. So you can see marked as a custom page because that's what it is. And here it is in my list. Now you can see this T next to it. That's indicating top links is really what that stands for. But it is indicating that this page is part of the navigation menu, the top navigation on the website. So if I scroll down a little further, you'll see I have this navigation menu section. And all the way at the bottom of it, we have the new page added, the Tech Tuesday test page. Now if I don't want it to be at the end, I can just drag this wherever I'd like, and that's where it will appear on the navigation. If I want it to appear in a drop-down, so for example, this doesn't make any sense, but for example, if I wanted this to appear under this Pendings option, I could just embed that once, and now it'll be in a drop-down menu under Pendings. If I want it to be in a flyout menu, so I could go down here and say, Contact, My Page, we'll embed it one more time. So now it's indented twice, so that means that I'll have Contact Me, and then under that drop-down will be My Page, and then My Page will have a flyout menu that leads to Tech Tuesday test page. So we'll go ahead and save that so we can take a look at it. And then next we have bottom links down here. So the bottom links down here at the bottom are the links that appear in the bottom of your site, and if your template supports that. And you can see if I try to embed these, it won't let me because the bottom links don't support drop-down menus like that. It would be kind of a weird user experience if they did. So now that's saved. We'll scroll back up to the top here. I can click Preview Website, and that will open my website up in a new tab. There we are. And you can see that in the case of my particular site, this navigation is hard-coded. So I don't get much there, but if I go over here and look at the actual full navigation menu, we can scroll down here and you've got Contact Me, Fair Housing, under Meet. If I click on that, you can see my Tech Tuesday test page shows up right there. Now, depending on the template you're using, if I had standard navigation here along the top, I would have a drop-down menu and then a flyout menu under that as well. But this just isn't the kind of template that uses that. So we'll go ahead and back out of that stuff, go back into the DeltaNet. Now, the other types of pages you can create, so we'll go back up here and click on New Page. Now we can also create a predefined page. So if I click on that, you can see it loads up a different interface here that allows me to select from all the pages we've pre-built in the DeltaNet. So there are company pages here. You can see those are listed out, so you can select from any pages that your company has created and made available to you. And there's also a menu down here for system pages. So these are the pages that we've created that are kind of built in or baked into the system. Then you can select from those as well. You can see some of them are marked as advanced sites only, so some of these are only available if you are on the upgrade package. That's what that means. But to use any of these, I would just select the page, and you can see that adds it up here. And then depending on the page I've selected, it may add some additional options here. So the sold listings page, for example, has an option where I can add sold keywords to determine what listings will show on that page. And I can also put in a price range to limit the solds that will show on that page. But as you run through these, you'll see that there are different options available for some of these specialty predefined pages. So we scroll down a little bit more. Solds header, again, is a custom piece for this page. The ability to hide a map, show the listing comments, all these things are custom to sold listings pages. But as we scroll down a little bit further, you can see we have, again, link title, page title, meta description, the navigation menu, and bottom links for areas links shown. All of that, as well as the campaign stuff, all works exactly the same as a custom page. So we'll head back up here. Next we have an external link page. So this is nice if you just want to put an item in your navigation somewhere, either your top navigation or down at the bottom of the site, that links to a specific page. And that could be a page on your site, or it could be a third-party page. One thing that this is used for a lot is if I want to create a page on my website and put it in my navigation and have it linked to a specific set of search results. So I could say Canton, Ohio listings. And then I could paste in the URL of a results page on my website for listings in that area. So if I go back over to my website and I just go to a search page, and I'll just kind of shortcut my way there. So here we are on a search results page. So if I search for Canton here, that would come up in the drop-down menu, and I can select Canton from the menu. Now this is a test site, so it doesn't have the same data loaded up on it, but we'll load up some of our test data here. So this is our Canton results page. Now I can copy this URL, switch over here, and I can paste the URL in here, and now this is the URL of a search results page on my website that is specific to results that are in Canton, Ohio. So if I save this and add it to my navigation menu here, then what it would do is I would have a link in my navigation that says Canton, Ohio listings. And if I clicked on it, it would redirect me to the search results page. Now the additional options I have here is I can choose whether or not I want it to be surrounded by my agent template. Now in this case that doesn't really make sense because it is a page on my website anyway, but if it was a third-party website or a page on a third-party website I was linking to, I might check that box, and what it would do is embed that page in an iframe on my website. So instead of clicking on it and having them leave my website to go somewhere else, they would still be on my website seeing my template, but that third-party page would be embedded in it. Not every third-party site will support that, so you just kind of have to try that out if it's something that you want and see if it works for the page you'd like to link to. Next, we have the ability to have that page open in a new window, which is usually the preferable way to go. The iframes tend to be a little touchy because it really depends on the third-party page and whether it was built to look good in an iframe or not. If it wasn't, it just might not look very good. So what you can do instead is have the page open in a new window. So what that would do is when someone clicks on that link, instead of replacing the window I'm in with that page so that I lose the page I'm in, it would open a new tab in their browser, and that would open to the new site. So that way you can link them out to a third-party page without actually having them leave your website. And then areas link shown, that stuff works the same way. So we'll go up here to Market as the last page type. This allows you to create a market landing page. So it's just a quick and convenient way to make a market-specific page with some market-specific content on your website. So what I would do is just type my market name in here. Well, really, I'm typing my link title in here. So let's say I wanted to look at Canton, Ohio. So I would type Canton, Ohio. And then under Market, I'll click Select a Market. And now I can choose the market that I would like this page to target. I can go by market name, in which case I would type out the name and it would bring up an autocompleter where I could select it. Or I can click on Select a Market and select by map area, and from here I can actually draw out an area on the map that I would like this to target. So we'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit, and I'll click my little toggle here to draw my map area, and you can see everywhere I click it puts down a point, and now there's my market. Now if I click Next, it allows me to name that market if I'd like, put the state in here, so we'll call this Downtown Canton, and we'll click Done, and there we go. So now we have my market named, and in this case it is defined by map, so it has that laid out there. From here I can further restrict this down to just residential pages, or residential listings rather, so it can pull the sample listings and the data on this page could come from just residential or any combination of the other property categories here as well. Next, I can narrow it down by status further if I'd like. So if I wanted to only look at active listings, only contingent, or some combination of those, I have the ability to select those things. I can put in a price range if I want to limit the price range of the properties the page looks at. And then I can also limit it to just waterfront. So I could select just waterfront there, and then only waterfront properties would be taken into account on this page. Next, I can add some market introduction text. So this is just text that will appear up at the top of the page. So usually you'll want to type out just some market-specific information here. And then market information text is very similar, but this appears on the lower section of the page instead. Now as we continue on down the line, areas links shown and campaigns and action plans, again, those work exactly the same as the other pages. And then I would just click Update Page to save it. So there you go. That is how you can utilize the Pages system to create custom pages for your website, as well as choose from any of our kind of predefined or pre-built pages. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to send an email to support@deltagroup.com or give us a call, and we can help you out with that or anything else you need, or rather this or anything else you need. And if you'd like to see more of these videos, you're getting more information and a better use of the DeltaNet out of these pages, feel free to like and subscribe and click the bell, and you can get notifications whenever we post new videos. Thanks a lot, and I will see you again next week.